The quick release. The quick release. Onlookers looked, men stared, but nobody ever really saw. No one said a word, because she impressed all of them. On the balls of her feet, she pressed on, uphill, even keel, even though one tire had too little air. When inefficiency gloms to grace, grace is still, grace is balanced, grace makes everything, including inefficiency, look efficiently easy. She bounds uphill, but the truth was, there were so many, too many goat heads in one tire. Grace forgave all of them, knowing that nobody could look that closely, because the tires were always rolling. With what looked effortless, grace expands, as do cicadas, snakes, caterpillars expand into butterflies, furry deer and elk, their antlers expand. And just like that, almost as if when nobody is looking, there's a quick release. The old antlers fall off. A quick release. One wheel comes off. The invisible hand of some ancient wise sage sits in a cave, reaches through the mask, through the veil, and lifts up the quick release, and sets down the old antlers, the leaking, tired wheel. She sees through the mask, through the veil, with drishti. What is drishti? Focused gaze. Concentrated intention. That sage in a cave, grace, she sits by a spring, by a flowing creek, the sound of water flowing, whispering. This whispering sounds so different from the leaking of the tired wheel. She hears both. Grace has discernment. She hears both. Grace distinguishes them. She knows the difference. Harmony versus discord. Similitude versus dissimilitude. The sound of the spring flowing into the creek, whispering, sounds very different from the leaking, tired goat head wheel. How did she ride that bicycle for so long? 10 years she rode. That's grace. She made it look easy. In her discernment, the leaking, tired wheel hissed and rattled, venomous hiss, rage-filled rattle. Viparinima dukkha. What is this parinama dukkha? Viparinama dukkha, the suffering of change that arises from an inability to accept change. The addict feels dukkha, shit, as pleasure, like a shitty, vibrating bed in a cheap motel that you feed quarters into. The addict clings to shitty, pleasurable experiences, but will surely freak out when there's no more quarters to feed the bump, 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 mechanical, off-kilter grind. The addict cannot accept the truth of impermanence, and the flailing and wailing, gaslighting and threats, coercion and manipulation, texts and emails that read more like diarrhea than words. Even a beggar politely asks, "Can you please spare some change?" Grace listens. She hears the addict, and with tough love, she pulls the quick release on the hub.